Welcome to the presentation. My name is Halil and my partner's name is Marat. The presentation is on open source software and IT governance. This presentation will cover the basics of open source software, its benefits, and how to incorporate it into a company while compiling with IT governance frameworks and service layer agreements. Here we see what's the open source technology. Open source technology refers to software that comes with its source code and allows users to freely study, modify, and distribute the software. While proprietary software is typical closed source and limits modification and distribution. Now we can talk about the open source technology benefits. Actually, open source technology provides several benefits such as lower costs compared to proprietary software, flexibility to customize and modify the software, access to a large community for support and collaboration, and reduced dependency on a single vendor or supplier. So the benefits are good, but when you want to implement that open source software in our company, there are few rules that we need to be careful about them. Service level agreements and IT governance frameworks are important for defining service expectations, deliverables, and responsibilities when incorporating technology into a company. And CELA's main service layer agreements is a contract between a service provider and customer that outlines the level of service the customer can expect to receive. If to ask a question, what kind of relationship between CELAs and IT governance? Service layer agreements are framework for measuring and monitoring service performance, while IT governance frameworks offer a structured approach to managing IT service and aligning them with the organization goals and objectives. Service layer agreements are critical in IT governance as they help measure and monitor IT service performance, and IT governance framework ensure IT services are aligned with organizational goals and deliver value. So another critical question, what kind of benefits provide? Service layer agreements and IT governance framework provide numerous benefits, including preventing misunderstandings and disputes between service providers and customers, ensuring IT service deliver value to the organization, and offering a framework for continuous improvement and alignment with the organization's goals and objectives. Now my presentation parts are ended. After this slide, my friend Marat is going to continue the slide.
Bullet points of SLAs. Scope of services defines what services are included and excluded from the agreement. Service availability guarantees the uptime percentage and outlines the consequences if not met. Response time outlines the time frame for responding to service requests or incidents and the escalation path for unresolved issues. Performance matrix defines the specific metrics used to measure the provider's performance, such as response time and mean time between failures. Service credits outlines compensation for the client if the provider fails to meet the SLA requirements. Responsibility and obligations defines the roles and responsibilities of both parties. Termination and renewal outlines the conditions for agreement termination and renewal terms. Confidentiality and data protection outlines the measures taken to protect the client's confidential information and data. Dispute resolution outlines the process for resolving disputes between parties. Implementing WordPress for companies with SLAs and IT governance. WordPress is a powerful content management system for building and managing websites. To ensure our WordPress implementation meets our business needs and complies with IT governance policies, we will establish SLAs and implement IT governance processes. Implementing WordPress, we will follow best practices for security, performance, and scalability. Choose a reliable hosting provider that meets our SLA requirements and provides a secure and scalable infrastructure. Install and configure WordPress plugins that enhance security, performance, and functionality. Establish backup and recovery procedures to ensure the availability and integrity of our WordPress data. Implement change management processes that ensure planned, tested, and approved changes to our WordPress environment.
Thank you for your attention, and we can say last words as in conclusion, WordPress can be an effective tool to manage our websites, but it's important to implement it properly to ensure that it meets our business needs and complies with its governance policies. By establishing service layer agreements and IT governance process, following best practice for security, performance, and scalability, and implementing backup and recovery procedures, and change management process, we can ensure that our WordPress implementation is a success.